Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to another Comic Crusaders UCPN special. Of course, we are continuing the celebration of all things Geek Fest for the at-home Comic-Con Geek Fest Film Fest, which is starting this Thursday. It's going to be amazing. Now, we're going to have an awesome team here that's going to be interviewed by none other than Mr. Paul Hayden. All right, let me bring my man in over here real quick, Mr. Paul. See where you at. Oops. Actually, very easy to do this. All right. So, Paul, I'm going to bring in and show the trailer to this fantastic film. And the folks you just saw is the fantastic team behind the film called Laundry Day. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and share that right now. Enjoy.
It's in our DNA, the promise of things to come. Lex Corp is at the intersection of that promise between science and technology, an engineered hope for humanity's future. Lex Corp.
I forgot to breathe when you walked into view, but you were breathing just fine as you walked by. You're so fast, I blinked and then you were gone. Just like that. That's my life with you, my life without you. I just wanna fly and catch up to you. Cause you fly so high, I can't keep up with you.
The world can...
Hey, there you go. There's the trailer for Absolutely Brilliant. I can't watch that trailer without doing this though. Just so that I'm just straight in with that music. I love it. So I've watched the film, absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to obviously break down into parts, kind of who you are, what your involvement was in it, and then kind of the vision behind it, if that's cool. So obviously, you know, we've got Josh there. Is Josh or Joshua, whichever you prefer?
Josh is fine.
Josh, okay. So Josh, you were executive producer and director of the film. Next to you, we've got Dan or Daniel, whichever you prefer. Fabulous. Leah, you're going to be easy. And then, so you were the editor, is that right on that, Dan?
Correct.
Fabulous. And then we've got Leah, which is nice and simple because I can call you Leah. So you are the producer and you co-wrote it as well.
Co-wrote it with Josh.
Yes, fabulous. So, first and foremost, for me, as a fan, it's so great to see the kind of power couple, if you like, kind of the comics' greatest romantic couple in a fantastic everyday setting, which is what I really enjoyed about it, because you have a kind of grandeur with all these comics, and then you take them and put them in just a great, normal, everyday, relatable situation. So what was it that kind of brought that about for you guys?
Honestly, it was about the scale of the story we could tell, that we could afford to tell, that would make a story like that relatable to an audience, but also like shootable, easy to do on a fairly low budget and in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Going with the decision to do something like them meeting in a laundromat, keeping it one location. I mean, obviously, as a filmmaker, there's a bunch of logistical issues that are solved. You don't have as many company moves and that kind of thing. But you know, one of the things they say is when you're trying to make something that's on a lower budget, you think of like the smallest scale of the big story you want to tell. And if the big story we want to tell is how these two iconic characters meet, this is the smallest scale I felt like we could really do that at.
Plus, Josh is really passionate about Superman, and he had this idea kicking around his head for years.
Yes.
Which is what I loved about it is you know, you strip everything away that you see in films nowadays, and you're left with the people. So, you know, everyone focuses on, you know, I mean, he's across my shoulder there. You know, everyone focuses on the Man of Steel, but, you know, sometimes Clark Kent, the man, is overshadowed.
And that's kind of the thing, is it's no matter how epic or extraordinary the hero is, there's still a human story there. In Clark's case, it's a little bit different because he's an alien pretending to be a human. But in doing so, there's a different kind of awkwardness for fitting in that you know that it's still relatable, but you don't always get the opportunity to see him as a human being. You see him as a human being in a lot of, especially more recent movies, where he's maybe in a discussion with Lois, but it's still about him being a hero. It's not about the stuff that makes him human. Like in this, he talks about his mom, you know, giving him the recipe for the beef jerky, you know, like, and like, it's stuff like that, like, you know, you remember that he grew up on a farm in Kansas and that he's, you know, for the most part, a regular guy.
Yeah.
And it's a love story. I mean, love makes us all human, and to have this alien falling in love on first sight with Lois is just a tremendous fodder for a story.
Yeah, it's when I was going through it earlier and I was making notes, I noted down that it was a rom-com for the geeky.
Yes.
And it's true, you know. I definitely felt that, and the thing that I really enjoyed, that I picked up on, was their kind of contrasting layers, their contrasting awkwardness, if you like. So because you've got Clark Kent kind of outwardly bumbles and, you know, kind of plays that awkward character, and then you've also got the awkwardness that is Lois's walls right there. But in contrast, his kind of outwardly sweetness, you've got, which is also my favorite line, which is the inner wall, his fortress. Yeah. She's kind of the opposite of that. She's got her outer wall, but you break down into that, she's quite soft. So they're kind of a nice kind of contrast to each other. That was one thing that I got from it that I loved.
Especially since like Clark is this indestructible being, like, you know, Kal-El is an indestructible being. Yeah. And as Clark, he's sort of, and I'm not the first person to say this, but he's sort of like parodying humanity. He's sort of imitating the fragility of humanity and this, like you brought up, the soft nature, the soft squishy nature of being human. And that is fraught with a bit of awkwardness and how to sort of like, you know, rein himself in. Because, yeah, I mean, he could just like do the Superman thing and be super impressive all the time. But that's not, you know, then does she really like me for me, or does she like me for the S on my chest, you know?
Yeah,
like,
no, definitely. I think to kind of break down the characters like that, and the thing is, you go through so many different parts with them in this film. You know, you get the kind of little glimpses into, you know, to Lois, the fact that she's sitting there watching a soap opera and going, "Shh, don't tell anyone how you're seeing me do this," you know, and it's kind of, to me, it harkened back to when geeky wasn't so cool, you know, when I was like 10, which was in 1990, you know, and I was a proud geek, but only proud in front of certain people, where other people would go, "You're a loser," you know, and you kind of go, "Yes, I am." So I enjoyed that as well, because it still had that element of, this is for us, and this is brilliant, you know, that kind of thing, which I loved.
Thank you. You know, there's a tendency these days to go very grimdark with these stories and to try to bring things out to such an epic scale. One of the things that gets overlooked, and one of the things that I found was missing, was heart. And especially in the story of Superman, I really wanted to see that heart brought back. And I'm not saying that it was completely missing from the bigger movies that were out there, but it is something that I've noticed in the response from fans, that, you know, it just wasn't as bright, as colorful, as hopeful as we've seen in the past. And I wanted to create something where, there's a lot going on in this world, but there's still that hope. Yeah,
no, definitely. That's perfect, because it kind of leads me on to one question I was going to ask, was in regard to like the casting of it. Do you think when, since, say, Christopher Reeve, when people have tried to cast for it, they're casting for Superman, they're not casting for Clark Kent, and it's trying to find that balance?
Yes, and I think you have to cast for both. I think you have to cast for somebody who can pull off both really well. And I think we got really lucky in that Jack, our Clark Kent, our Superman, was able to really pull off both. There was something in his physicality when he was Clark that was completely different when he does the transition. I know you only see it briefly, but it still comes across in his body language. We also got extremely lucky in that their chemistry, Jack and Olivia's chemistry was so palpable.
Really good.
Had their auditions separately as like video auditions, and I was just playing them like in separate screens, and you felt the chemistry. They had never been in a room together, and you could still feel the chemistry through the video. That's how that they were just perfect. It was really, half the job was done with casting.
Yeah.
And to their credit, Jack is so like underscore charming that he speaks to that specific part of Clark's personality, and we really played up that part in his dialogue, and he did it justice in the way that he delivered lines so well. And Olivia Applegate is amazing in everything that she does, and we have cast her in a couple of our things and hope to cast her again because she is a powerhouse. I don't know why she isn't A-list yet.
She'll find her way, I'm sure. I would definitely agree on both. I would definitely agree with the chemistry for sure. Yeah, it's a massive thing there.
Yeah, I think to Josh's point, when we did the casting, one of the things that we did is we took both of those audition tapes. We actually edited together the scene that they used for the casting to see how well they played. Even being separate, the whole scene just flowed so smoothly between the two of them, even though they were recorded separately.
That's so cool. That's got to be quite rare as well, I guess. It's social distancing chemistry. It's very difficult to get. It's especially in the world that we live in at the moment, where you can have very awkward, bumbling idiots like me on the other end of a screen who's kind of talking away. So that's brilliant, and they definitely shone on screen. The one thing that I enjoyed about Jack as Clark was kind of towards the end. I don't want to ruin it for people, but between the transition, you've still got that kind of like come on, that little boy kind of Clark Kent thing there, and then it's just boom. So that switch between the two just makes me go, yeah, I could buy that. I can believe that. Whereas some, not so much these days. So
I mean, that was a combination of a great rapport between Josh and I for the script, and then Josh's directing, and then how he directed the actors. Yeah. And we have to mention Brian's cinematography helping bring that alive was just. He was a phenomenal person to work with, him and his team. And then how he lit everything, I think he and Josh have a shorthand now on how to approach scenes, especially in the comic world. And I can't wait to see what they do next.
Definitely. It's bizarre, isn't it? You can take something as ordinary, as you say, as a kind of laundromat, and you can light it and make it a beautiful, piece. So it's...
And the blues and the reds that were used were all on purpose. So all of that you see was the two of them coming together with a vision.
No, it is beautiful.
Yeah, every choice was intentional. We did luck out with the laundromat being named Love Laundry. That was all the stars just sort of once we started moving forward on this, like everything just sort of fell into place.
Yeah, if you need to cast anything in LA for laundromats, go to Love Laundry. They're amazing.
There was a bit in it where it basically had said what was going in my mind. I think it was when Clark was walking towards her, and it just says, love it, or I love it, or you'll love it. And I was going, yes, I do. That is correct. So it was just like, thank you very much. But also, again, kind of going back to taking the surreal and making it real, the fact that Superman's there doing his laundry. I mean, he needs to for his pants. They're on the outside, they can't be dirty. People, that needs to be clean. But again, having that little nugget of the tech that he puts on it, and waiting for his suit, and it's the kind of perfect balance of the real and surreal together.
It had to be believable, right? Like you had to believe he would need to come to the laundromat to clean his super suit, basically. And that there would be a device in the story that would allow for that to be a plausible reality. And so like the nanobots that the Kryptonian nanobots that are like in crystals when he puts it as an additive. like that. You get the set, you know, we illustrate that and how that works a little bit, but just enough so that you get it, and then we move on to the real meat of this, which is that story, that connection, that awkwardness that goes with meeting somebody, seeing somebody, falling in love with them in an instant, that limerence, and trying to do something with it.
Oh no, definitely. As well, for me, the kind of underlying Easter eggs. I'm a big fan of Easter. I love, you know. So you've got the stuff with the Wayne tech on the phones.
Yes.
You know, the kind of names on the screens. I go from being a nearly 40-year-old man to being one of these kind of people. And you kind of go, luckily no one saw that. But yeah, you kind of go, oh, I've seen it. There it is. So for seeing those little bits, they're just the extra, you know, it's a cherry on top of the cherry on top of the cake.
And that's exactly what we were going for when we were putting the movie together, is we wanted to tap into the real kind of fandom that would catch up on those little tiny pieces, just to show how much thought actually went into these characters. It wasn't just, you know, we're making a Superman film. We wanted to show, you know, we're fans too.
Yeah. And when we were all in the room together, Josh, Dan, my co-producer Katrina, and I, what was really prevalent was the audience was in the room with us every step of the way. Like, this is a film that was made for you, for the audience. Yeah, no,
and that's it. It definitely shows, and you know, I can't speak on behalf of every geek in the world, but I will. Sorry, thank you, because we love that kind of stuff.
Do it, yeah.
It's, you know, it's one of those things where, like, for me, for example, me and my older brother in particular, we play a did you know game. You know, did you know this about this? And we also go, did you notice in said films? Yes. And sometimes we'll be on the phone going, did you notice? And you're going, no, I didn't. And you're quickly rewinding and going, yes, I saw it. So to have those in there, they're just perfect, because I think that they're missing. I think things sometimes are too blatant and too kind of in your face. It needs to be reserved. We want to play with it and enjoy it and kind of step in.
What was one of your favorite discoveries?
To be honest with you, I was so happy to hear the Wayne Tech stuff on the phone. That was the bit for me, because I'm going the wrong way, but in my picture there, right, just underneath, there you go.
Nice.
So, you know, the other power couple of comics is obviously, you know, it's the Bat and the Boy Scout. So to have that come on the phone, you know, you just kind of go, and just kind of invest. I love that. That was definitely the bit for me.
Yeah, it also, like, for me, it serves a dual purpose, right? Like, it makes the world seem larger, and it kind of grounds these people in this world. And because, like, I mean, it's kind of obvious going into this kind of what you're going to end up seeing, but for some people who don't know, who don't recognize the clues going in, it's sort of a slow roll into, so that at the end of it, like, when you see that change for Clark, you're like, oh yeah, this day, of course it's Superman. How did I not pick up on that? You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of, and for some people who aren't the biggest comic book fans, you know, like, about halfway through, we've noticed they're like, wait, is this a Superman story? Is this? I'm just waiting for him to change. You know, like that's.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
One of the best things was I went down to Long Beach when Geek Fest did the first festival this year, and I sat through the fan films, and the people that were sitting in front of me were some of those people that didn't pick up on that it was Superman until about halfway through, and I like the look of like amazement and like joy when it finally clicked in their brain that we're seeing Superman. Like that's what really kind of made it set in that like we did something that, you know, people really do enjoy.
Yeah, oh no, definitely. The other one, I don't know whether it was on purpose, but my eye was always drawn to it, was even though it was Kansas across the T-shirt, the S on Kansas was thusly placed, and I could not keep my eyes off it. And the colours as well, I was kind of going, there it is, I can see it. So yeah, that was another bit for me that I loved. the pinnacle of it though for me, the unsung hero for me was RJ Tucker as the homeless guy. That man will be indestructible because he can sleep through anything. He was amazing. He's the unsung Justice League member. Yeah, I loved him. I thought he was great. Every time it kind of clicked back to him, I go, hey, there he is, you know? Yeah, absolutely brilliant character. Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, wow.
He's great. He's great in all things. He's our in-house actor, voice performer, comedian.
He's actually the voice of the Wayne Tech commercial and the voice of the LexCorp commercial.
No way! Fantastic.
I did
awesome.
I did the Big Belly Burger commercial. That was me.
Oh, well, that's cool. It
was,
so
I only wrote them.
Yeah.
Performance.
No, I loved him. I thought it was a great kind of add into that. He was just, you know, if he was in everything that you did, you know, essentially he could be your Stan Lee cameo throughout your film.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
We want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him into everything.
Yeah,
there were so many outtakes.
We have another project coming up, and I already hinted at him playing a homeless character, and then I was like, "That's the same guy. Like, it could be the same role."
Yeah, you can reuse your costume from the last film. It's fine. It's not a problem. Yeah. Oh no, it's brilliant. So, what have you guys got planned next? Then are you delving into other characters on this, or is it you stepping away from comics for a little bit? What's the plan?
Well, we actually we've got a couple things coming up next. The next short that we're planning is the two characters that I want to tackle is kind of two of my favorite unsung DC heroes, the Ray and Static Shock, and I kind of think like kind of a Training Day-esque sort of like tour with either like the older Teen Titans or like a younger Justice League kind of a situation with the two of them would be kind of very cool. And that's kind of the next story that we're exploring as a short, but we have a feature coming up.
Cool.
And it takes place in a comic book store, and that's all I'm going to say about that for right now.
Oh, you've got my Twitter handle. Please let me know when it's coming, and tell RJ I'll be looking out for him in that for sure. So I think that's kind of it from me, guys. Genuinely, I loved it. I thought it was a really, really good, really good film. You know,
we
literally, like I say,
us like you know. So
yeah. Yeah, exactly, and that's it. And I think it, you know, there are elements within it that will speak to all of us. As I say, you know, the Easter eggs for me was definitely a thing. The seeing the layers of the characters was great. You know, the footage. So you've got like the news footage, which was great because it was that twist where you've got this real situation and then you realize you're in a surreal world when the news hits. So you kind of step back into real and then you go, oh, no, it's a comic book. And then you've got that kind of stuff. So again, you know, just very clever kind of intricate detail. So, you know, if I had a hat on, I'd take it off right now, but I don't. So, you know, kudos. What we're going to do is as well, because obviously I know that it's part of Geek Film Fest. So if you guys would just want to hold on for a sec, we're going to show the trailer for that. And then we'll say, you know, kind of our last goodbyes and make sure everyone knows to follow you and kind of have a look at your stuff on the Thursday, I think it is. So if you bear with, I think Al is in the background. I hope I'm not talking to myself. I'm sure I'm not. No.
Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, Paul, fantastic job. And the Laundry Day team, you guys rule. That movie is, in fact, Off the Hook. It's definitely one of my favorites of the Geek Fest Film Fest. You know, so people, please tune in. I mean, if you're a DC fan, you're definitely gonna fall in love with this because, you know, it's not in your face, but like, you know, you guys have all said, it's there. And even the casual fan is going to realize it at least by somewhere in the middle or the end. All right. So thank you, Laundry Day team, Leah, Josh, and I'm bad with names.
Dan.
And Dan, there we are. I'm so sorry. Don't worry. I'll correct myself after this.
Thank you, Comic Crusaders.
No, but thank you for
Yeah,
joining,
thank
man.
you both.
No, thank you, actually.
Thank
and
you.
we look
Thank you
forward
so
to
much.
everybody checking out your film this weekend. Wepa, do it up. Laundry Day. Woo!
Woo.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And again, just visit the It's a Short website this weekend. You know, again, you could, dude, how cheap is this to get into the Geek Fest?
$3, like $2.99.
Right? Cheaper than listen, the other day I went to the shop and a homeless man asked me for $5. This is less than what homeless people ask you for. Come on, let's do it, folks.
Did Tucker ask?
Possibly. We'll leave it like that, poor Tucker. Everybody, thanks again for tuning in. Much love. Later.
Thank you, guys. Bye.